Place this spy cam immediately after the buy phase is over. Place this spy cam immediately after the buy phase is over. Place it as close to the sign as possible. It gives you a great view of B main and anyone pushing into B site.
Cage triggered.
Place this spy cam from A heaven. Aim at the pillar and jump as you place it to get it as high as possible. It has a great view of the front of site and it's very hard for the attackers to spot due to how high up it is. When defending B site as Cypher, you may want to use one of these trap wires to stall an enemy plant. They both cover the default plant spot.
Cage triggered.
Here's a trapwire for the mid-top platform. Place it in the same spot seen on screen, and keep in mind that if you place it too close to the edge of the platform, players can walk over it without having to jump over it or shoot it. Also keep in mind that this is more situationally useful, like for example, when you notice a player sneaks onto the platform in this same spot several times after a sage wall is placed. This is really easily countered though, and should be done maybe 1 or 2 rounds in a game to catch a player off guard. This one-way camera is great for getting information on players pushing up the mid-top stairs. It's fairly simple to set up. Just put the camera on this spot on the wall above these 2 wires, and when the attackers push up the stairs, you'll be able to see them, but they won't be able to see your camera.
Use this cyber cage to block line of sight from A link into A site. To throw the cage, line yourself up with the right hand side of this metal grate. Aim at the middle of this cloud, jump, then throw the cage. As you can see when we come into sight, this blocks the line of sight perfectly from A link into A site. You can use this cage as cover to push into A site or to close the door to A link. This post-plant one-way cyber cage gives you a massive advantage over any defending players trying to push onto A rafters to retake A site. To throw the cage, jump onto these boxes and go into the corner. Aim your cursor in the middle of this fork and go all the way up to the edge of the cloud, then throw the cyber cage. To place the camera, run and jump off rafters onto this box in sight. You may need to press crouch as you're about to land on the box to boost yourself up. Then come to the edge of the box, jump and place the camera as high up on the wall as possible, as this will give you the best view into A link. This spy cam placement is useful in a post-plant situation. You can use it to watch A link, A rafters and A site. These cyber cages are used to block important lines of sight from A site into A main. To throw these cages, jump onto the bike, then onto these boxes and then onto the ledge. Go to the right hand side of the ledge and aim your cursor here, then throw the cage. For the next cage, aim your cursor here, jump, then throw the cage. As you come into A site, you can see the cages block line of sight from both the left hand side of A site and A rafters. To throw this cyber cage, stand between these two tiles. Aim your cursor where the middle bar meets the bottom of the window. Jump and then throw the cyber cage. This cyber cage blocks line of sight from the defender's spawn into the B site. To line yourself up for this cyber cage, stand on top of this line on the floor. Aim your cursor at the edge of the raised section on the window and throw the cyber cage. You can use this cyber cage as a one-way sightline onto anyone playing behind the shed in sight. This spy cam is useful in a post-plant situation on B site. By placing the camera here, you have a great view of both entrances to B site. You can play behind these boxes in the middle of site and swing on any enemies you spot on your camera. To throw this cyber cage, walk directly at the corner of this box. Aim your cursor at the bottom of the window between the middle and right bars. Jump, then throw the cage. This cyber cage blocks line of sight from mid-market into the B site. This trapwire is useful for stopping any defenders flanking through mid-courtyard into mid-link. Due to its placement, it's very hard for the defending team to shoot. This camera can be used to watch the defenders spawn, mid-Pisa and mid-courtyard. To place this camera, jump onto this box in mid-Pisa and place the camera on the wall here. Once the attacking team have taken mid-control, this camera gives you invaluable information about where the defensive retake may be coming from. This trapwire and camera setup is useful for stopping any defensive flanks through your spawn or from mid whilst your team is pushing into A site through A main. Place both the tripwires at waist height either side of this corner. You can use your camera behind the box here to watch anyone flanking from mid. Then you can play behind this wall and catch any enemies off guard caught in your tripwires.
Cage triggered. 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 Cage triggered.